I just want to start by thanking all of you for being here in the hot sun. I can't begin to tell you what a difference this makes. I work around the corner. These rallies happen constantly. This is a great crowd for a Sunday morning. You should be really, really proud of all of you, especially young people that are up here. Round of applause. As we close out here, I'd like to leave you with a message of what you can do. Because that really is the question as we stand here and we rally and we're caught up in a moment. What happens tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month? How do we move forward? And I want to tell you for a moment where you're standing. The Israeli Consulate's here, the UN is there, but right around the corner on the other side is a museum called the Museum of Tolerance that's part of the Simon Wiesenthal Center. Let me spend a moment telling you about who Simon Wiesenthal was. Simon Wiesenthal was a Holocaust survivor. He spent 5 years in the hell of the concentration camps. He came out and they told him that he should go back to Vienna, hang up his shingle and open up his architecture practice. He said, it's not like I took a sabbatical for 5 years. I want to make a difference in this world. And he started to wander around to understand where he could make a difference. And he bumped into a bunch of American prosecutors. And he said, I'd like to help you. They said, well, how can you help us? He came back the next day with a list of 85 Nazi war criminals that he had met personally in the camps, and he drew pictures of these Nazis. And they welcomed on board to help with the Nuremberg trials. And after the Nuremberg trials, everyone went home. The Americans, we came back home. The Russians threw up the Iron Curtain, and Europe was just rebuilding. And Nazi war criminals ran all around the world, feeling very safe. Simon Wiesenthal opened the only office in the world that sought out Nazi war criminals. And over the years, he was responsible for the capture of over 1,100 Nazi war criminals all around the world. When we met with him in the late 1970s, we asked him what we could do. He said at that time in Germany, the statute of limitations was about to run out for murder post-World War II. If you had run an extermination camp, you could move back to Berlin, go to your local pub, and brag about all the Jews that you had killed. So we organized a campaign with people like yourselves, with teens. And they sent over 1 million postcards to the German parliament with graphic images on them. They said, how dare you let the statute of limitation run out on these murderers. And they changed the law that today for genocide, there is no statute of limitation. And over the weekend in Philadelphia, there was a man named Johanna Hans Breyer who was arrested because he was a guard at Auschwitz. And he was indicted by the German government with 158 counts for every train that left Auschwitz or came to Auschwitz while he was there. He was held responsible. We have to hold our enemies responsible. Simon Wiesenthal always said, this was never about revenge. Revenge is not a Jewish value. This is about justice. And what we can do, and I know that if Simon Wiesenthal was here, this is what he would say. What we can do is support the state of Israel, because when he started in 1945, the state of Israel was struggling to survive. Today we have a strong state of Israel. We will always be strong. And when we say never again, it doesn't mean that we're not going to let you throw us into concentration camps. It also means you don't touch our children. And if you touch our children, there will be hell to pay. Every person here, go back to your friends and tell them that you need to support the state of Israel as the state of Israel does what it needs to do to find our boys. Don't get on a plane to go looking for them. Support the state of Israel. Get on social media. Let the Presbyterian Church understand that boycotting the state is an act of anti-Semitism against all Jews. Never again means that we will take care of ourselves. We will find these boys, and we will support every member of the Israeli army as they do that. God bless this country, the United States of America. Israel has no greater friend than this country. And God bless the state of Israel.